First, Manchester City midfielder Rodri has cast doubt over his long-term future at the club, saying he'd like to return to La Liga one day and that he'd be open to a move to Real Madrid, despite having played for City rivals Atletico. Speaking to Spanish radio station Onda Cero, Rodri said, "I'd like to return to Spain. Obviously, for me, La Liga is where I started. You can't turn down the best clubs in the world. They have a fan base that really goes all out for them. And for me, the Bernabeu is always incredible, a stadium that's very imposing. I have 1 year left on my contract. There will come a point where we'll have to sit down and talk." Rodri was asked whether his association with Atletico would affect whether he could join Real. He replied, "No, I mean, there have been many players who've gone down that path, right? And especially not directly, but over time." Well, Chief Correspondent Kave Solokol has joined us to reflect what could be a huge hint about Rodri's future. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's 29. So what are the options that City and Rodri have here, Kave?
Look, I think what Manchester City will try and do is have talks with his representatives and get him to agree to sign a new contract, because he's such a key player for Manchester City. I think he's one of their best ever midfielders, one of the best midfielders we've ever seen play in this country. But you have to remember that he has had a serious knee injury, which he's been recovering from. And I think that's one of the reasons why there haven't really been in-depth talks about him extending his contract. Now, of course, it's very, very interesting what he's had to say in this interview, because it would have been easy for him just to say, "I'm here on international duty. I don't want to talk about my club future." But of course, he's Spanish. He's representing Spain. He was talking to Spanish journalists. And he said what privately a lot of players would say, that it's very, very difficult to turn down a big club like Real Madrid if they come in for you. But I think we have to retain a sense of perspective. Just because Real Madrid may want a player doesn't mean they're going to get him. What we do know for a fact is that they are interested in signing a new midfielder this summer. And I'm sure Rodri will be one of the players they'll be looking at. They've also been linked, for instance, with Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea, Moses Caicedo at Chelsea as well. So I think they will have a lot of options. But if I was a Manchester City fan, I wouldn't be getting too worried, because I think City do want to keep him. And I think quietly, they're probably pretty confident that they will get him to sign a new deal.
Rodri, Mateo Kovacic and Bernardo Silva all have deals running out soon. Could there be lots of ins and outs at Manchester City, especially in the midfield this summer?
I think there will be some changes, but again, we have to remember that Manchester City have spent quite a lot of money. They bought in Semenyo and Gay, for instance, this January.